Hello, good evening, and welcome back to Illusory Lighthouse Lufenia Plus. This is still the Cait mission dungeon fight against the White Priest. And I've brought a team here mostly to showcase what Zack is capable of. Because I've heard a lot of people saying they pulled him or they like him as a character, but they're not sure where they can actually make any use of him. And the answer is that he's a very powerful damage dealer who wants to take a couple of hits in order to max his overhead stacks. But so long as you build around him, he'll do big damage. So this team is very heavily catered to enable his damage. It's a variation of a team I was recommending to a couple of other people that they fed back to me was very comfortable for this fight was it Agrias, Setzer, Varn, which I actually I didn't run myself, but I'm glad it worked for them. But the idea is that in this phase in particular, we want Zack to take hits from those ghosts. That's why I haven't been pressing Judgement Blade with Agrias, despite it being full AoE. Because I don't want them to get paralyzed and not hit Zack and build his overhead stacks. And oh my goodness, this Chain Slash is going to do over 1 million damage, including the splash. That's what I mean by he's a damage dealer. That's a lot of damage. So the nice thing with Zack in this fight is that he can take those bits of damage in the start. You're going to get hit and he'll mop that up for you. And you also don't need to worry about the debuff because he'll heal it off in time. The slight caveat is as soon as we get rid of this ghost here, we're about to see that it now targets itself. That's for the classic reviving the ads move he does that we bring Agrias along to paralyze and avoid. Oh, that was sneaky. Went for a luck sack on the paralysis there. Probably not very smart, not sure why I went for it, but I got it. But the problem with him targeting himself is that Chain Slash only attacks twice. Does the full 6 stumps if the enemy is targeting Zack. So we're going to rely on Rush Assault, which is nice for a couple of reasons. One, because if Setzer's rainbows don't proc, Rush Assault is still defense ignore, so it's still doing a lot of brave damage, even when those rainbows aren't proccing, because this boss has very, very high defense. Even then, the Chain Slashes will do a good 400k, because the other advantage regarding defense in this fight is Zack is very reliant on Brave Gains as well. He's got Brave Gains in all his skills, pretty much. Don't know why I pressed Apocalypse there. I don't need the shield. It's not AoE, and Chain Slash would have been better because I don't need the longevity. But whatever. The point is, because he has the Brave Gains, Agrias is fantastic for maximizing those. He makes sure his refund is also stronger, so he goes into his skills battery. He's got a really big refund. He is synergy for this, I ought to say. So your mileage may slightly vary. But I don't know if you saw some of those brave hits on that LD were only doing like 16 if they weren't rainbow, but we'll see on the rush assaults that they still do quite a lot. I think one thing that does make me a little bit sad with Zack though is that they don't seem to give me either of the weapons from either of his costumes. He doesn't get the umbrella for his Costa del Sol costume. At least he might get it as a weapon gloss. I don't know if that's been added in JP. And much more saliently and upsetting to me, he doesn't get his soldier second class sword, the classic one he has for the whole first half of Crisis Core, which for whatever reason I quite like. The BT ends up looking a bit like it, I guess, and then it's got a gold hilt and a blade, but why can't they just put it in? Why do they have to make these really weird EX and LD swords that aren't from anything and don't look great? Anyway, one problem there is with this team is with tempo control, because we don't have many ways of opening up tons of space against the boss. There's no re-break, Setzer's the only delay. I guess there's high turn rate skills on Agrias and Zack, and Setzer as well, actually. And this Cloud of Darkness friend is going to really help with building up some space there, but to primarily mitigate against the enemy taking a lot of turns, I just brought some extra paralysis. So we've got Shantotto Call, Ramuh summon, and of course the Luxac paralysis earlier on helped out. And I think I get another one of those later on, so truly a blessed run indeed. I actually had quite a lot of fun with this event, if I'm going to be totally honest. I understand why so many other people didn't. It requires quite a lot of specific pieces in order to approach it on its own terms, and you really do have to approach it on its own terms. I think a lot of the classically strong teams just haven't worked very well here, although people have certainly done some weird stuff. But I think if you aren't totally aware of what this event, or how to get through this event already, if you don't have characters like Agrias and Ash, and, well, you can't pull for them now, you'd have to go to the LD shop, then this must be horrific. And without stuff to, even if you can deal with the paralysis, it's fast, it's got very high defense. I get why people are so upset with it, but I have had fun with the runs I've done. It's sort of been like a little execution puzzle kind of thing. Oh, you can see Cloud of Darkness is not hitting for much there. I kind of wanted to get off the field so I can bring Setzer back in. This was actually a relatively early attempt. I think this was only my second attempt at this run, so I hadn't really optimized which friend unit to bring or which skills to use. That's why I'm still pressing Apocalypse without realizing that it's a terrible skill to press. But I do think after using him here, I'm gonna have to green Zack PT. I wasn't planning to, but he's really fun to use. I like him. Just in case it wasn't clear, this is an entirely blue team, so you might not see the same amount of damage if you were to try and do this without all those blues. In fact, I think Zack he gets a lot out of his blue. Because he's just got so many dumps, and he can hit his caps. Although despite Agrias being so popular for this fight, I have seen quite a lot of fun clears that use other characters that you may not be expecting for the stuns. So I've seen a Kryl clear, Fenny did that was cool. Ganro did a really cool clear using Camlanaut as the main paralyzer, which is fantastic. You'd love to see it. I think it was Cait Sith, Reigns, and Camlanaut. Awesome. Go and check out his channel if you haven't seen any of his runs. They're really, really interesting. Always brings quirky characters. I only found out about him, I think it was last night, but I'm very much on the Ganro train. So now it's just a matter of keeping the damage up, no more turn warps to worry about, and make sure that if he gets a turn, he's stunned. Yeah, even at this late stage in the fight, those non-Setzer hits were doing about 1,400 brave damage, which it's not colossal, but it's not nothing either. Although I suppose at this point in the fight, 1,000 is... Well, it might get you a break, you might not have, I suppose. But when you've got Setzer on the field, who cares? We've got our nice refresh of our dive bomb there, ready to just clean this thing up. And, as always, a special shout out to Agrias for quite how much damage she can put out with a heavy battery, and especially Setzer. They work really well together. Oh. Yes, Zack. Yeah, this Divine Ruination. Just love to see it. I think after this, there are 2 Lufenia Plus fights that have been especially hyped up as difficult to do, which are Divine Shiva and Transcendent 6. And then after that, we're relatively in the clear, so I think I can say I've enjoyed this early Lufenia Plus phase, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the rest of the fights are like. But thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next fight, which will be Shulk event. So do look forward to that. But until then, have a great evening, and thanks for coming.